Before we start this episode, I would like to address some of the concerns our male listeners and viewers had about our previous episode, If I Were a Man. Why are you laughing, Maria?
just keep going.
So, first, this is a podcast. It's a podcast about two Latina, Salvadoran specifically, actresses telling their stories about life, relationships, and sex. This is not a conference, and we never talk about us holding a monopoly on knowledge. This is our life, our truth, our stories. That's why it's a podcast. We're not experts on how different males have it from females around the world. We can only speak our truth. So let's start by that.
Yes.
Second, when we say we want to be men, we're talking about the men around us, the men we actually know, our fathers, our brothers, our partners, our colleagues. I had a listener write, "You wish to be a man, but men in the Ukraine have it really tough because they're at war and they're being recruited," right? I understand that. I don't think I was saying that I want to be a man in the Ukraine because I'm Salvadoran, first of all. And we can only speak once again, our truth. So all I'm saying is that the men of our lives in El Salvador have it better
Yes.
than us in many ways. So that's another point. And finally, if we are telling you our stories and we're opening up from the positionality of our lives where we are, it's because it's our truth. People cannot say you're lying or that's BS because that's our truth. It may not be yours, and maybe our podcast touched something in you where you needed to think about your own positionality and your own status quo and you wanted to defend it, and that's fair. But then the conversation is not with us. The conversation is with yourself. And perhaps there's something that bothers you about what we said.
Mm-hmm.
But that's our truth. And so we respect and we value all your opinions. But similarly, you should respect and value our experiences that are very unique to us and many Salvadoran women, by the way. But at any point, we're saying that women are better than men are better than women, or that we don't understand the suffering around the world. Anything you want to add?
No.
Your look says it all. Welcome to episode 6. Sex,
Relationships
careers,
and just plain life. From the experience of two Latina actresses.
welcome to the Unfiltered. Hi, I am Vanessa Tomasino.
And my name is Maria Bruson.
And today we're talking about a different subject from last week. We're no longer talking about our lives in the public sphere and work and all that stuff. We're talking, once again, relationships. And especially, we're talking about how we are deceived at times in
Yes.
relationships. We don't always know everything.
And sometimes you think you know everything, and then years later you find out everything you knew and everything you thought you knew is a lie.
Wait, what? So not in the moment, like years later.
Yeah.
Okay, you need to tell me this.
Yes.
What are you talking about?
So I haven't had the best experience in relationships. That's why I was like so, I don't want to say closed off into having one, but I was really like healing from years of having really bad experiences. But one of my first relationships, he cheated on me, and I found out years later after breaking up, like years later.
How did you find out though?
People close to me told me, and I'm like, why didn't you tell me? And I don't know what bothers me the most.
Mm-hmm.
Like the deception and the lies from my ex, or the people around me who didn't tell me, and you know, like I was walking around all happy and in love, and they in their minds they would have been like, oh, poor her, she's being cheated on. Like, I don't know what hurts more, but yeah.
But listen, let me play devil's advocate. Although I was reading, I don't know where I was reading this article saying, don't talk to people that play devil's advocate. I was like, okay. No, but let me just in the situation play devil's advocate. Would I get involved though? Like if I were your friend.
I understand your point.
Yes. And I'm like, oh, Maria, I saw your guy with this girl, blah, 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 thinking I'm doing my duty.
Mm-hmm.
And then you guys talked it out. And then you resolve it.
Then you're like the problem, like, you know, the house wrecker or something like that.
I am then the friend that doesn't like your boyfriend. Yeah. Or it becomes really awkward between the two of us.
It is. I understand your point. And it is difficult because my mom, she doesn't give me advice at all. But when she does, it's really good. And she once told me, like, if one of your girlfriends breaks up, with their boyfriends or whatever, never say anything about their ex. Never. Just try to be there for your friend, but don't ever like say something bad about her ex.
Like he's a douchebag.
Yeah, because
good for you.
When the time comes when they come back to like get back together, then you're the one who you know appears to be what you said, like that friend. And in a lot of cases they do get back together, you know.
They do. Now the question is, would I, like I'm putting myself in the situation that you just mentioned, would I feel sorry for you? Like if you walk around like, oh, I'm so in love, and I would look at pictures and be like, oh, she's an idiot, she doesn't know. I don't know if I would think of you like that. Do you think people are like laughing?
Some people. I think some people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I could see it from outsiders, but your friends.
Put yourself in the shoes. Okay, maybe you're not the friend of the girl who's getting cheated on, but maybe you're someone a guy who has a girlfriend like is trying to flirt with. Then you're like, oh, poor her. Like she doesn't know.
Still though, I don't know. Because I would love you though. Like I would never think like, oh Maria, she's such an idiot.
But you're not my friend.
Oh, if I'm not your friend. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I can.
So the people who told me that he was cheating on me were my friends, but a lot of other people knew.
Oh, I get it. Okay.
So I was walking around in high school and there was like, oh.
I see. Yeah. That's a difference. Yeah. No, I thought it was just your friends. Because then like your friends would, you know, they would feel for you rather than. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think that that's why the relationship didn't work out?
No, it was long distance, definitely.
Okay, so it was completely something else that destroyed that relationship. It wasn't the cheating itself.
But our relationship was really like controlling. We were very like jealous people.
Insecure.
We were immature, really young.
Yeah.
But it was long distance. Like eventually.
Long distance is hard.
Yeah.
I have a horrible long distance story, but it's not so much about cheating and deception. Do you want to hear it? Oh no, yes. I don't. No. It's not really.
Yes.
Oh my God. Okay. Here we go. It's not about the subject though. I'm going to completely off tangent here, but okay. I can say his name, and I'll explain later why. His name was Mike. He came to El Salvador, and I met him at a party. Super cute American guy from Florida. Super cute. I was so bored of the party, and he was so bored of the party, and we met. And we just hit it off. And we started talking. He told me he came here for a wedding. This was on a Friday, and the wedding was on the Saturday, the following day. And then he was going back to Miami with his mom. They were staying at the hotel where I was at this party. And we just talked for hours and hours and hours. We just hit it off. And then he said to me, do you want to come to the wedding with me tomorrow? A total stranger. I was in love with him. And the thing is, I wasn't supposed to go out the following day, but I said yes. And so I had to tell, like, I remember that I think my mom was in France working and my grandma was taking care of me. So I had to lie to my grandma. I'm like, I'm going to a friend's house to study. Lies. And so the following day I show up at the hotel He's dressed. He looks amazing. Like he's just gorgeous. And I'm dressed up really pretty for the wedding. I go to the wedding and we are having fun. He introduced me to his mother. The mom loves me. We're snapping pictures. It's just a beautiful story, right?
Mhm.
Then the following day, he wanted to stay a day longer with me to spend the Sunday with me, and he couldn't. So he ended up leaving and he left me a letter, saying, like, I really like you and this
Mhm.
was so much fun. And he gave me his number and all that stuff. And he went back to Florida. Okay. We wrote to each other for years and years and years. And we would talk on the phone and just, nothing never materialized because he was there. I was in El Salvador, but we kept on messaging each other and writing letters. At the time, letters. There were
Pen pals.
pen pals. There was no WhatsApp.
Mm.
And then I moved to Vancouver. His mom kept on writing to me because his mom really liked me too. So she messaged me. And in 2002, I think it was, no, 2003, I hadn't heard from him. And I was like, this is very strange. And then I receive a message from his mom. And she tells me that he had passed away.
Oh, you told me about this story before.
So sad. He was in a car accident in Florida. And I remember, just like right now,
Yeah.
it took my breath away. Like I didn't know what a life without him was like. And I just started crying, like right now, if you can see me. and I thought to myself, I never told this man how much I loved him.
Mm-hmm.
And for many years, we were like in love with each other, but we never said anything. And then he was gone.
Mm-hmm.
And he was so young. He was like, let me see, this was 2003. He must have been like 26,
Yeah.
25. So Mike, yeah,
Mm.
lovely guy. He was so lovely. I remember he drew, oh, Be Real. We have to take a picture for our Be Real. Let me finish the story and then you can explain what Be
Yes.
Real is. I remember he was so artistic and he wanted to do something different with his life, like he didn't want to go down the traditional route. And I always respected that from him. And I love him and I still miss him. And yes, this story was sad. This was not a cheating story.
Yeah, it's not a cheating story. It's
No.
long distance.
But it's long
Yeah.
distance. So that's the story with Mike. And I love him. And I still think of his mom. And sometimes I feel like I want to email her and reach out just to say, hey, I'm
Mhm.
thinking of you. But then sometimes I'm like, no, the pain she must feel is so
Yeah.
deep that I don't think she want to even talk to me. But if she's listening, know that I still love you and I loved your son a lot. So, explain Be Real.
Okay, so Be Real is a new social media platform.
Yes.
And basically, just to summarize what it stands for, it's just trying to take off filters and fake content that we constantly see on TikTok, on Instagram, on YouTube,
Especially Instagram.
Mm-hmm. So it sends you a notification at some point in the day. You don't know what time it would be, and then you have 2 minutes to take a picture, and it takes a picture of you, like a selfie, and then a picture of what's in front of you, your surroundings. And if you can still
show them, go up to the camera and show them. So she's gonna show you that there's
so you have a timer. Right
a timer.
So I have 22 seconds to post, to take a picture, but you can still post it later in the day if you miss the 2-minute mark. But then it'll show if you were like 2 hours late or 3 hours late, and if it also counts how many takes.
Yes.
It's like how many takes it takes you to post a picture. So if you took a picture, you didn't like it, and you try again, then you took one take.
Yes. That's absolutely. I love Be Real.
And you can't see other people's posts until you post your Be Real.
So we're going to post our Be Real.
And everyone around the world posts it at the same time. So it's fun. Well, your friends.
Let's post it right now. Okay. This is us taking. You should see us. This is funny. Okay. Are you ready? And we go. And there we go. Okay, so let's keep it. I want to explain further Be Real, because we're talking about being real and lies and all deception and all that stuff. Here's the thing. I like the idea that it shows really what you're doing in real time. So there's no posing, no filters, no, like Maria said, it shows you how many times you take the picture. it's not necessarily that people judge you, but it makes you accountable. It makes you
Yes.
accountable. It's like, I'm not posing for you guys. I'm being real. Hashtag be real, right? Because sometimes I think that platforms like Instagram can be very problematic for our mental well-being. I think that when we look at posts on Instagram and everyone looks so perfect.
And I would really want to have an episode like just on that
Oh,
somewhere
yeah.
in the future.
We'll talk about that in the future. So if you have questions on that, let's have a chat. And so briefly, Be Real makes us all, not only, I find it's like a community, like, all of us posting at the same time. It's actually quite nice. And then the second one is that that it doesn't matter where you are, you don't need to post anymore. Like, you don't need to have this perfect setting, at the waterfalls and this Photoshop picture. It's not needed. It's just you.
Yeah.
So I like that. So you were episode 6. You were part of our Be Reals today. Yay. All right. Let me tell you the story of how I found that the guy that I was seeing was married and had 2 children.
Okay. Here we go.
So I was seeing this guy. We were dating for like 3 months. He was super nice. We were chilled. Nothing super serious, but also more than a situationship. It was more like a relationship. People knew us and we would go out and stuff like that. Okay. So I went to the travel agency. For those of you who don't know what a travel agency is.
I know the story. I know the story.
I told you the story.
Yes.
Before Expedia and online shopping, you would have to go to a travel agency to buy your tickets. And so I was flying to El Salvador. I was in Vancouver. And I go to the travel agency, and all the desks and the cubicles are not facing to the door. They're facing to the wall in front. And then the entrance door is at the back. So you hear the doorbell ringing, but you don't see who comes into the office, right? So I'm sitting there. I hear the door open. Okay. And I just hear people talking behind me in the cubicle next, behind me. And they're buying tickets. It's a family of 4, the husband, the wife, and the 2 children. Okay. And I'm buying my tickets too. So then I hear this voice, the male voice. It sounds so familiar. I'm like, is this Joseph? Once again, made up name. His name is not Joseph, but we're protecting his identity. Is this Joseph? And so I stood up, right? And there was a mirror in front of me that reflects to the back. So I stand up and I see Joseph with his wife and his 2 kids. And they're buying tickets to fly on a family vacation. And I can hear him saying, yeah, my name is Joseph, blah, blah, blah. This is my wife, blah, blah. He has no clue I'm there. Oh my God. I sat down and I'm like, okay, I can do 2 of things. 1, I can stand up and be like, Joseph!
Yeah, what the fuck?
What is happening here? And tell his wife, he's cheating on you with me. Like, I can do that.
His children, like, scarred for life.
Scarred for life. And so I'm like, that's one of my options. And my second option is just to ghost him. At the time, it wasn't called ghosting. You just disappeared out of,
walk away.
You walk away, right? I'm like, or I do that very respectfully. I don't, put on a show at this very luxurious, it wasn't a travel agency, And so what did I do? What did I do, Maria?
Number 2.
I did number 2. Yes, I didn't poo my pants. Option number 2, which was I respectfully sat down again, almost in tears, sat down and decided not to cause a scene. It's funny because a lot of people think that I would cause a scene.
Yeah.
Because of the kind of personality that I have, and maybe it's the curly hair. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but people actually think that I would cause a scene, that I would be like,
I think maybe
wild.
The hair would have, but Vanessa wouldn't.
Yeah.
Because the hair is an entity by itself.
It is. It's like that episode of Sex and the City when Carrie Bradshaw says there are 2 types of women with straight hair and women with curly hair. We are actually different, Yeah. And those of us who have curly hair, it's very hard to tame us. We're pretty wild. And I think that's why people would think that I would go for the first option, which is to just lash out and be like, Joseph, how dare you? I did not do that. So as he finished buying his tickets before me. And so he stands up and I guess he could see my hair.
Yeah.
Obviously, how can you miss my hair? So I think he saw my hair or something, and I could just hear him quickly say, "Let's go, let's go, let's go. Let's get in the car." Blah blah blah. I knew he had seen me. 5 to 10 minutes later, I get a phone call from him. Obviously, I did not pick it up. I let it go to voicemail. It was like 10 minutes. It was like 10 minutes. I kept on waiting for how your cell phone tells you have a message. I kept on waiting for that message. It was never coming. I'm like, what is happening? He called. Wait, 10 minutes later, I get that. Boom! You have a message.
Oh my God.
I know. And so I open the message, and it's him. Hey, baby. Just so you know, I want to explain some things.
Oh
And he
my God.
proceeded to mansplain his situation. First, he didn't straight out say that he was
We
married.
love some mansplaining.
I love me some mansplaining. Tell me something I don't know. So first, he didn't mention that he was married or that he knew that I knew. He just kept on saying, I love you. I know life is complicated. He just went around in circles, right? But then eventually he got to, listen, I want to be with you, but my life is blah, blah, blah. Anyhow, I did not respond to that message. Instead, what I did, which is what I usually do, is I fled. I booked a ticket once again to Paris because that's where I usually go when I want to run away from people. I booked a ticket to Paris and I disappeared for 3 weeks. And so hoping that he would never call me back again. And he did not. After I didn't reply to that 10-minute message.
10-minute voicemail.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I know, him trying to explain the fact that I just caught him with his entire family.
The audacity.
The kids are cute.
Aww. They should be like teenagers by now.
Oh, God, yeah. They're like teenagers or 20-somethings.
Oh, like
yeah, they
my
were
age?
big. Maria, you're my child. Oh, my God, Maria.
Oh, God.
Yeah, we never really know the people that we're with completely, which is fine. Like, I don't want to know everything about the person that I'm with, like I'm not one to be asking like my partners, like, how many girlfriends did you have, or what was your best relationship. At best, I can ask things like, what are your goals? Do you have any insecurity, so that I am aware, I can, be respectful about that. But I would never ask my partner, what's your body count, for example. That's something I just don't think it's my place to ask. I don't know. How are you?
In what sense?
Like, do you want to know everything about your partners?
I think I can skip out on some details.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think if it helps the relationship, yes. But if it's something that's not gonna if it's something that's gonna give me an insecurity that wasn't there in the first place, then I don't want to know it. I don't want to know about it.
Yeah.
We
all have to have our secrets too, because I do think that we live through so much.
Yeah.
And people don't need to know everything about our lives, They need to know some things for sure, but not everything. Like with my husband, I would never go up to him and be like, tell me all the wives or the girlfriends you had, or, how many were you in love with? Like, I assume that if he's with me, it's because he wants to be with me. You know what I mean?
Yes, absolutely. It makes sense.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that if you want to know too much about the other person, I think it almost gives you like ammunition to eventually
bring it up.
Bring it up.
Yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
It is
right.
It is something very tricky to deal with when you know too much.
And once again, why would you want to know too much? Like, we all change and we become, hopefully, better people. Like, I work towards being a better person. I've committed so many mistakes. Like, I can list all the mistakes I've made in my life, that I'm not going to share here with you because it's, once again, it's my privacy or my privacy. It's my life. But I do have to say that from all the lessons and the mistakes that I learned, it has made me a better person. So why would you want to tell the person that you're with all the horrible things you did before if it's no longer a representation of who you are,
I get that.
you
Yeah.
know?
Hmm.
Like you don't live there anymore.
Yeah, you've grown.
Hmm.
You've changed, of course. I usually am the type of person that I like to know a lot of things.
Yeah. In
Like I
general or from like
in
your.
general, I'm such a curious person.
Okay, that's good though.
Like I want to know everything and like specific details, like when, where, why, but how, but this, but then if you did this and why did you do like I'm like that's I think it's something good and bad though.
Hmm.
In relationships, it can be like a little
Yeah.
too much, and I do need to work on that because I love to know details in general. We like it can be from past relationships to what was your favorite food and why and how and when did you first try it and what, like I can be very obsessive in
Yeah.
that sense. Like I just love information.
But I think curiosity is not bad. And I think the same with when I'm seeing someone, I'm like, what's your favorite music? What's your favorite TV show? Not so much because I want to see if we're compatible, but it's actually because I want to learn. I was seeing this guy, well, too, because it was because of you that I became a Bad Bunny fan.
Oh
Let
yeah.
me just explain that before Maria and I were friends, I had no clue who Bad Bunny was, and I didn't even know. I don't know what my mind thought Bad Bunny was. Like I thought it was a cartoon or like a series,
Bugs Bunny.
like a Bugs Bunny kind of deal. Like I had no clue. And then I met Maria, and she's like, "Oh, he's a poet. He's the best," and blah blah blah. And I'm like, "Okay." So I started listening. I'm like, "Okay, it's good." Then I was going out with this guy and he loved Bad Bunny and he played it all the time in his car. And next thing I know, I'm jamming to the
And she's
songs.
enlightened now. She's enlightened.
Now I have been enlightened. Now I love Bad Bunny. But that's the kind of thing. It's like we share knowledge, and sometimes you take the best things of that information and you make it your own, but you're not using the information to attack a person.
Yeah.
I find that there are some people that perhaps because of their insecurities that they have, they want to know stuff, which is different.
Mhm.
Like you seem curious. You're like a curious person.
Mhm.
I think that's fine. I'm curious too. And I like to learn from other people. But I think that there are other people who want to know everything,
Mhm.
almost because they're mapping out
Mhm.
the relationship.
I think in my case, because I know we're talking about like wanting to know too much information from someone's past in relationships, I think that my curiosity in that specific scenario is more like going towards the trying to understand a person's love language and stuff
Yeah.
route.
Yeah.
So if I know like in the past, like maybe I don't know, example, like why did you break up with your last partner?
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Then it was because we didn't communicate well. Okay, so then there's probably a communication problem or issue with this person. So it's easier for me to like navigate
Mm-hmm.
this new relationship
Yeah.
knowing some details from the past. But I do understand that that's maybe overstepping a little bit
Yeah.
and it might not be my place.
It's true.
As long as the person is comfortable sharing, then I guess it's fine.
Yeah. And I would probably not go like, can you tell me your past 3 relationships? Like why did they fail? Like I wouldn't go that far.
Mm-hmm.
I would probably go with, do you want to discuss your previous relationship? Because of the same reasons that you mentioned. It's like, what did we learn from this? Was it you needed something specifically, or something wasn't working communication wise or whatever? But I think it would be strange to be like, tell me all of your relationships and why did they fail. That's almost like you're mapping it out or psychoanalyzing somebody, which is, I think, disrespectful.
Yeah. I wouldn't go there either.
No, I wouldn't want to know everything, but maybe your past relationship, just to see if there's any way that I can make it better. Yes, absolutely. So in my experience, I've had people who want to know everything about me, and then people who don't want to know shit about me, and I respect both. I don't have an issue with either. Although now thinking back, hindsight, maybe the ones who were asking too many questions, they were a bit controlling, and maybe that's why they were asking questions. Like I think at first, when I first started going out with them, it was perhaps like, oh, that's so sweet. He cares about me because he wants to know stuff about me. But then as the relationship progressed, they became very controlling. So maybe it wasn't the best.
It's so interesting you say that, because me, that I'm so curious, and I do like have conversations about past with my partner, my boyfriend. Hi.
I miss you.
Um,
I'll be done soon, honey. Vanessa talks a
I
lot.
do it to more of like what I mentioned earlier, that because I want to understand the person better, and I'm not a controlling person because I hate people that control me. Like I can't be controlled or
Yeah.
like put in a jar or whatever. So it's interesting you say that. Maybe some people in the past may have misinterpreted
Yeah.
my
Well,
curiosity.
a good observation. It's a good insight.
Yeah,
Maybe that scared some people.
maybe.
See, we could never know what goes through somebody's head, like how they perceive what we're doing or
They
what we're
process
saying,
information.
or how they process information. And remember, if we're coming from a reactionary or a trauma reactionary decision making process, then we're not really listening to what they're saying. We're filtering through this trauma what they're saying, which is
And
really
we just
hard.
take what we want and
Yes.
discard what we don't want to
Yes.
listen.
I know that I've ruined a lot of relationships like that because my trauma was interpreting what that person was saying rather than me actually listening to that person. I remember this guy sending me messages, and now that I read them back, they were super nice. They were nice messages.
Yeah.
Somebody saying, I like you, I miss you, blah, blah, blah. But at the time, my traumatic brain, my reactionary inner child would read the text, and she would be like, why aren't there 3 exclamation marks in this phrase of I miss you? Why isn't there a heart emoji in this? He doesn't love me. And then I would back off. I'd push him away. It's weird how we want information and we want to know the truth of the other person, but we don't actually ever see the truth because we're filtering through our own perception of what we think they're saying. So maybe we don't ever know them either. It's the idea of them that we are interpreting.
Also, texting is very tricky.
It is tricky. Oh, I
Because
don't
you
want to
don't know
text
the
anymore.
tone, you don't know the mood, you don't know anything. Like
I know.
the excitement in whatever they say. Like
I
it's
know.
hard. It's hard to figure it out.
Oh, I'm such a terrible person. Like looking back now, I think about that. I'm like, I'm terrible. Like how many, and somebody said that to me the other day. Was it you?
What?
No, you didn't say it. Some other friend said to me, like,
You
because
have more friends. just kidding.
I know. Who would have thought that?
It's just me.
I know. It's like, let's kill them all. No, but like because we talked about this earlier, that I respond really fast to all messages, right? But I noticed that I'm very short when I respond.
Yes.
So I will say okay, or say yes, or be like, like, I'm very short. I hadn't noticed that about me.
I have, and I know that because I know you now, I know that when you answer okay, it's like, okay.
Exactly.
It's not like, okay.
Oh my God, that's right. That I go, okay.
Yeah.
It's a good okay. It's like, yay, okay. It's like,
Yeah.
I'm full in okay. But most people don't get that. And so I had this friend.
Are you mad?
Exactly. I had this friend say to me, you're very short with me. Like, you don't want to talk to me. I'm like, what are you talking about? I responded right away. And she was like, no, but you just said okay. I'm like, yeah, because it's okay. No, but you didn't elaborate. I was like, what? And so she is right. She is right. If I don't realize, or we don't realize the impact that we have on people because of the way that we say things or we write.
I understand that, but are you responsible?
No.
For how other people process that information? Like, I feel like with texting, you have to you cannot take things personally.
Yeah, but at the same time, you can be aware.
Yes, you can be aware, but you're not responsible.
No, not responsible, but aware, where you can make that extra effort.
Yeah.
Where I can put maybe...
I try because I know that for some people, it's like, oh, she's being like very short. So I try to do okay and a heart or something
Yeah.
like that. Just let them know that everything's fine.
I know. Oh man. So basically long distance relationships, texting, phone calls, cheating. Well, I mean, it can all be very messy. I mean, we don't it's funny how once again I come back to the beginning of our season. How on earth are we in relationships? If this is so hard, there's so many possibilities of miscommunication. How is it that we are like dating people or seeing people if it's so hard? I don't know.
I don't know either. I mean, life would be boring without it, though.
You think? Without dating people?
I mean, you have some good ass stories from like
True. True. I mean, even the bad stories are good stories.
yeah, and like, and if you want to see it in more like of a, how do I say this? Like a positive light, like all my past relationships, I don't regret any of them because when something good comes, then you were able to identify it because everything in the past did not work out and was, well, for me was very traumatic.
Yeah.
And when you have something good, it's really easy to identify.
I regret a few things. Like I agree with you. I think that if I hadn't gone through that hell, I wouldn't be the person that I am now, for sure. However, I've made some really big mistakes that I would love to take back.
Really?
Yes.
That
oh my
bad?
God. That bad. The people involved know that bad. Yes. Where I think that I could have learned my lesson without having to go through all that and hurting people. Because at the end of the day, you're also hurting people. So it's not just that you're hurting yourself, but you're hurting other people. And I think that's where I draw the line. And there have been two instances in my life where I selfishly pursued something because, once again, in my trauma, like in my reactionary state and trauma, I made two wrong decisions that affected the lives of those involved.
Okay.
And that I
That's
regret.
fair. That's fair.
I regret. That being said, these two incidents were a reminder that something was broken inside me. And eventually all my other failed relationships took me to stepping into the therapy sessions. If I hadn't gone through all that, maybe right now I wouldn't even know that I needed the help.
Yeah.
You know? So you're right. It's not like we regret everything, but I do regret the instances where people got hurt.
Yeah, I think you regret hurting other people.
Yes. Yes. And I was in a lot of pain too. But I have to say, I was in a lot more pain watching them suffer.
Yeah.
The collateral people.
Collateral damage.
Yeah, it's the people that are not involved in that relationship, but that are outside of the relationship.
That can get a little messy.
Yes. And that I regret, and I cried, and I apologize, because that's one thing I do. So when I make a mistake, I will apologize.
That's good that you own up to it.
Oh, I own up to everything.
Some people are they act really cowardly and just hide.
No, I will apologize. I did apologize. And these people know that I went up to them and I said, listen, this is what's happening. I'm sorry. It's my bad. Right. And even if let's say the people that I am no longer in contact with, or I've ghosted them or whatever, if they came back to my life and they said, why did you do this to me? I would apologize. I would be like, listen, at the time I thought it was necessary. If it hurts you, I'm sorry. It's my bad. But that's the distance I needed because you were also hurting me. And so it was reactionary, right? I have no problems apologizing, but I do understand that for so many people, apologizing is like giving in. They think it's giving in or twisting their arms or whatever. And I've never seen it that way. I'm very humble that way. Like I will admit to my mistakes and try to correct them. So yeah, so those two instances of my life, I would definitely
take back.
Oh yeah, I would erase them from my history, but it is what it is. And the good thing is that now we're all friends, But the pain was there, but we worked it out. But yes, we have no control of life, and we can control our partners, and we can't. We shouldn't want to in the first place.
No.
But we can never ever also fully know a person.
Never.
Never. So just as long as you are not dating a serial killer,
Oh my god.
that's once again you could never know that either. Like, I mean, I don't want to scare you. I don't want to scare you, but you never know. Did you see that list of that's going around in the internet? Of no, no, she hasn't. Should I
What
bring it up?
list?
Should I bring it up? Because now I'm concerned. Maybe she's not
What
going to sleep at
list?
night. There's a list with all the serial killers and their
Signs?
signs.
People thought that Pisces was number one. We are not number
No,
one.
Virgo.
It's Capricorn.
No, Virgo is like
No, Capricorn.
really.
Yeah.
Can someone fact check this for us in messages? Because I started counting them and I could
My
see.
boyfriend's a Virgo. Please stop.
I said I didn't want to open this Pandora's box, but Virgos are like at the top of the list. Virgos are at the top of the list.
Actually, what I
Gemini,
saw yesterday,
Gemini.
go. I think it. Well, Pisces tops Virgos, and then it's Gemini's, and then there's like two more, and then there's Capricorns.
Really? Okay, let's fact check this, people. If you can help us and send us a message on our Instagrams. Actually, my Instagram is private right now.
Oh yeah,
but you
can message me.
Yeah, but you can message me if you have your name, as long as you're not Joe 4 5 6 7 9 10 20 45. You know, it could be random. Like, see, this is the thing. You have to use your name in social media.
Yeah.
Because
don't hide behind the screen.
Don't hide behind the screen, because it's easy to attack people behind the screen. That's why I made my Instagram private, just because I felt unsafe. Not because I was getting bad messages, quite the opposite. I was getting good messages, but you never know who's behind. And it's scary. It's scary stuff.
It's okay to try to protect yourself for a little bit.
I need to protect myself right now. So anyway, but you can message me if you have a real name on your Instagram. But yes, let us know who tops the chart. Because mine, like when I was counting with my hand, it was Virgo and Gemini.
This girl kind of did the work for everyone. She just like put down all the serial killers for each of the signs and said Capricorns. I'll see if I find it and I'll send it to you.
And disproportionately male, right? Like mostly men. Why are we dating them? Let it be noted that there are no Libras in the list, or very few Libras in the list.
Oh yeah.
I haven't seen her list. The list I saw, no Libras.
Oh wow.
And you're welcome. We will not kill you. You're safe with me. Can you imagine me trying to kill somebody? Be like, let's see if I should kill you, and do a balance, right? Yeah. Be like, you're a good person, but you're also mean sometimes. You do this, but you don't collaborate in the community. Like, that would be me trying to like justify killing somebody.
By the time the victim's gone.
Yeah, they ran.
Make a decision, the victim's gone.
They ran. You know, that's why there are no Libra serial killers.
Wow.
All right.
That's crazy.
All right. Well, thanks for hanging out with us today. If you have a question, you can message Maria Bruson, in her social media. What's your handle?
You can find me as MF Bruson, both Instagram and TikTok.
My legs fell asleep. And I am Vanesa Tomasino. My account is private right now, but you can send a request in. And my TikTok, Vanesa Tomasino, is open. You can send us questions there, and also here on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Thanks for hanging out with us. And if you have questions, just send us a message.
And we'll see you next episode.
Bye.